And welcome everyone to the CBC podcast. I think it's been about a month. I think the last thing we done
Yeah,
was the Ant-Man thing.
yeah, I think it's like the Ant-Man was half through
So it's the end of
February.
February. It's
Yeah,
like the
end of
20th, I
February.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been around like close to 3 weeks since the last podcast.
Yeah. It's
But due to some technical difficulties, both I guess weather-wise and some other things going on behind the scenes, Armin and Ricardo can't be here this week, so it's just us two.
yeah, so we'll make this as painless as possible for everyone, I promise. But yeah, as I say, as always, I am Mitch. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 692 tweets and 692 pics. You can find those links in the link tree description if Armin remembers to put that in there. And
Yeah.
I'm joined by Tristan.
Yep, the same thing. You can catch me at SGChins on Twitter, along with my other socials in my link tree in the description, like you said, if Armin remembers as well.
You
So,
bloody better.
uh, but
But
where should we start today? Because there's a lot of
well,
stuff.
I'm gonna first start this off with rest in peace, Lance Reddick,
Oh yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
Commander Zavala, because
It's, no,
that hurts.
no, it's
That hurts.
especially with the story that happened at Reset this
Oh,
week.
that's
I was not surprised by
such
that.
that was such unfortunate timing. No. Oh, he dies and then you just hear him like mourning Amanda. It's just like, oh man, that's
The weird part about it is like when I was done with the mission, I was wondering where I was supposed to go, and I turned around and I was like,
yeah.
oh.
So, but on the flip side of that, they give you a gun called Prodigal Return. I wonder what
Yeah,
they're teasing at.
yeah,
Amanda's going to be a guardian.
yeah.
But
Most
yeah,
likely. Oh, they gave little hints to there because I think if you keep doing the arena missions, one of
mm.
them, I think that was Ms. Rex says that she should be a guardian, and then
Yeah,
Crow
she
just
meets
says,
all the prerequisites and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
so a
right.
little bit for Destiny fans.
Yeah.
Also, seeing that all the other gaming communities just like rally round
Yeah,
Destiny was
that's
just like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. Especially if you are around the social media with like TikTok and all that, it's pretty wholesome for the most
I say
part.
I haven't been able to look at TikTok for like the last week without crying because it's
Yeah,
just like, oh man, it sucks. But yeah, we are gonna start this up because we've got a decent one today. So first up, Zachary Levi seems to be in his Joker era and just confirms everything we've heard about Dwayne Johnson
oh
with
yeah,
Black Adam and
that came out
Shazam.
of nowhere. Where he's just like on his what was it? He was on his
His
Instagram.
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, just basically stating that, yeah, you guys, are suspicions were correct in some way or form that The Rock had but his ego was inflated to
Mm.
astronomical heights, and it was him who was trying to position himself as, I guess, a center pillar in this, trying to make a new DCEU before they rebooted everything with
Mm.
him and Cavill as Superman, and basically tried to kick Shazam to the curb because he didn't want to be portrayed as a villain, or uh, in what some people kept saying. I'm not sure if it was said internally in the Rock's camp that he didn't want to get his ass kicked by kids. So
Yeah. Ironically, he became the Shazam villain all along anyway. So
yeah,
just not in the movie directly.
yeah, it's
He
just
caused
it's
both to tank.
yeah, it's just weird, but you can see it because even if you, from what I've interpreted from people who are or who were around, I guess, The Rock in his rise to pop culture fame, especially with his stint in the wrestling world, where they said that
Mm.
no, he's been like this most of his life when it comes to these types of things, types of projects, where he wants to reap the benefits of everything and push down newbies that are coming into their own. So he, I guess, gets more profit and more notoriety from the projects that he's around, and not help others to, I guess, get more influence more than him for the most part. And then that's where um, I didn't necessarily go down the rabbit hole, but I was getting information from people. It's like, yeah, no, he's been like this even in the ring where he need for a new and upcoming talent, he would punch down to make sure they didn't get their time in the spotlight more than he did, and then it just like I guess like for me anyway, it snowballed into seeing the signs where the Rock himself would, especially with Black Adam here, which everyone knows Black Adam is not. Well, people who are in the comic book world know that the Black Adam is not Superman's greatest villain or anti-hero, whatever the Rock tried to spew to everyone, and that he was more of a Shazam villain, but he wasn't even uh, notable for Shazam because he hasn't been in a lot of comics and stuff like that. And it was kind of funny when DC tried to push him in that Black Adam event.
Oh, they had that black. Yeah,
Yeah, it did not go over well.
Oh,
Like, wow.
that's funny. That's hilarious. That one. Imagine
But,
having all that pull and then it just comes out in tanks.
well, that's what Dwayne Johnson wants people to believe, that he is that main event when he clearly isn't, because he doesn't have, I guess, for me anyway, the acting chops to pull to have that much charisma.
So he's not like a Batista. Batista, you can tell,
Yeah.
can do like a more dramatic role and actually has a bit of range. The Rock just plays himself.
Yeah, he just plays this. Yeah, he just plays himself, or a version of himself that he can play to the best of his ability, and it comes off as one note because one of the jokes is The Rock plays a bald guy in, was it gray shirt?
Bald guy in tan shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
In the jungle as well.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if it works for him. But for people, they want more range, and with all this coming out, that in some degree, that is him, because I think he did not want to have a cameo role in the Shazam sequel movie, and did not want Shazam in Black Adam, so they went.
I think he was supposed to be in the first Shazam as well. So obviously they hint that he's the reason why the 7 deadly sins got out. Or they say hint, they outright tell you that he's the reason why. And of course Black Adam comes out. No mention of that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to be in Shazam 2. And then obviously he vetoed that. And then that's why you have I don't even know the characters' names, the 3, like Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, and like those guys as the villains. Like they were a last minute thing in case Dwayne didn't do it apparently. But
yeah, it's just weird because it's like, from what they had, it's like they wanted to reference each other, but the Rock kept saying to them no, and that's when supposedly they decided to do the Superman part, but it wasn't supposed to be. Well, it was supposed to be Superman, but it wasn't supposed to be Cavill. It was Headless Superman, and then I guess the Rock said, no, we're gonna do it my way. We're gonna try and get as many fans, that including Snyder fans, and get Cavill back to see if we can get some more seats in the theater with just that. And it did not work out because I guess they didn't want to go in a different direction, because I know that Cavill was not cheap with his cameo roles.
No. No, he was not. But I think as well, Johnson stopped the JSA from being in Fury of the Gods as well.
Yeah,
it's like, why? Like that's not even your character.
Yeah, from some interviews it said that he was the reason why. Like, I think like in one instance it was Shazam. They were supposed to be recruiting Shazam from the Justice League of America, and that was I don't know why. From what I've been told, that's Johnson's MA, where he doesn't want others to get more exposure than him. So for whatever reason, he didn't know, for him being a Shazam villain, didn't want Shazam to outshine Black Adam for whatever reason.
Yeah,
And
you would have thought for someone that spewed out that he's this massive Black Adam fan for years would
yeah,
understand the role that he's playing. It's
yeah.
like your
Well,
character's intrinsically tied. You look identical apart from one suit's black. Like, come on now.
there's that, and it's like, but for me anyway, it's like what Jonathan says is, I know Black Adam and Shazam are like tied narratively, so you can't really get past each other. But what if his nemesis was Superman, and he tries to he tried to, I guess, pivot that from Black Adam to Superman, so he could have his own property, his own story to tell from Black Adam, which it shouldn't be because they're tied to the Shazam mythos and with the power sets and everything like that, and that's where um, I'm not surprised that this comes out because WB would throw him under the bus if everything went to the crapper and that they had to actually reboot the entire universe over again, trying over again with the other characters. I'm not surprised with it. And other people was, oh no, he's good. He brought money in, and I'm like, no, he didn't.
He
It's one
definitely
of
did
the.
not bring money in. That
It's one of
movie
the. Yeah.
tanked hard.
Yeah. And
And
even
now
with
Shazam looks to be doing even worse than Black Adam, which is wild.
yeah,
Not that the first one did great, but
yeah,
obviously he did
I
enough to just warrant a
well,
sequel. But this
I
one's
expected it because of what Zachary was doing before it came out, and with their not unexpected but expected announcement of rebooting the entire universe as well. So for the moviegoers, it's just why go see these movies when they don't matter in the long run?
yeah,
They're
yeah,
they're
exactly.
they're they're extended universe stuff that won't matter to the rebooted universe in any meaningful way. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
So
and there's also that thing of Sandberg saying that he knew he saw the writing on the wall for a long time.
yeah.
Because there's that rumor that they weren't even allowed reshoots for this movie, which that's kind of nuts. So they
Oof.
had to cobble this thing together with what they had shot initially. Because this
Yeah,
even this that movie was done for like a good year, like
yeah,
everything else.
about a year, close to a year and a half at that point. Even then, from what I saw, it needed more time. And if this is what it feels like, I'm like dreading what the Flash is gonna be like.
I mean, apparently Tom Cruise is the best thing ever. So
Are
take
you
that,
sure?
take that how you will.
It's like, are you sure it's the best thing ever, or like there are some good sequences in it, but apart from that, no.
So I'm not sure Tom Cruise is the advertising you'd want for that sort of
Because,
movie.
I mean,
It's
of
like,
course,
yeah,
because he saved cinema. Don't you know that he couldn't go and
yeah.
he couldn't go and get some morale booster for his friends in Hollywood. So
Bless him. All right, moving on. Daredevil Born Again is well underway. We have all the set pictures and all this stuff, and there's the whole conversation about the actors for Foggy and Karen not being brought back, despite us not really knowing
yeah,
the reason why everyone wants to jump on the fact that they're recasting and it's not connected to the Netflix stuff. But then you
it's
have the showrunner
yeah. Well,
coming out here saying
that's
that he's treating this like season 4.
yeah. It's is he the current showrunner? Because from what information I
Yeah,
got is
it's the Born Again showrunner. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Because
He's treating this like season 4,
yeah,
which I
um,
think personally it
it.
tells you what you need to know.
I
Really,
mean,
like this is
I mean,
this is season 4.
yeah,
That's it.
it's if this is how they're gonna go with it, then oh, this is season 4. If they are going to recast the roles for Foggy and Karen, then they can do that. If this is a version of the continuation of the Netflix Daredevil, then it's so okay. But if they don't, I mean, they don't have to acknowledge them. They could just keep it going and call back to certain things from the Netflix series. But for some reason, it's like people want an act like I guess want a one-to-one continuation with everyone reprising the roles, continuing stuff
Mm.
from that. And for me, I'm like, for as good as Netflix Daredevil is, there was a lot of filler where you don't really see um, Charlie doing much, and it's just them talking. So
No, because I can distinctly. It's funny how people just forget. Like,
yeah,
people hated Karen in that show.
yeah,
Then there was a whole episode. I think it was season 3. I think it was the last one. Like episode 7 was just Karen,
yeah.
and everyone hated it. It's
And
like, oh, where's Karen?
that's the weird thing about it, is that people forget. They only remember the good sequences and the good episodes, but forget about the bad ones where, for one reason or another, it was more so about the side characters and what they're doing, and most of the times it was, for me, it was kind of mundane and slow. And then you see, um, you see Daredevil either so beat up he can't do nothing, so you just see him like sleeping or trying to recoup while you follow Foggy or Karen around. And it's cool to see them do stuff from time to time, but if like they're the main pull of an episode and it's mostly non-eventful, or they're just spinning the wheels until they can, get have Daredevil back into the picture again. Most people hated those episodes. So it's like, I don't know what people want at this point in time. It's just like,
I say my the way I'm choosing to look at it is, if the showrunner's treating it like season 4, then it's a spiritual season 4.
yeah,
Part of Daredevil in the comics is he goes off and he isolates himself.
yeah.
He has so many stories where it's just Daredevil, and he goes off with all that, the Elektra and all this. So we know Punisher's going to be in it. There's no doubt going to be other people. Like, sure, they recast Vanessa. Like that's an unfortunate one, but hey ho, you can't get everyone back all the time.
I do like how they are bringing back Daredevil, but the weird thing about it for me, the Punisher, the bringing back him, I was surprised. And that was a good call. But what I guess to me is, are they going to keep the skull, or are they going to go with the new skull? Or are they going to make, or are they going to make a brand new skull?
I can see them keeping it, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure, but that's something I haven't really thought about. They could change it, but I think at the same time,
if they do keep it, hopefully they put, if they can find a narrative beat for it, they could put in that that sequence in from one of the Punisher books, where they have an officer who's a fan, and he rips up the thing saying, "I don't want any fans. You want to be a fan? Go be a fan of Cap. He'll be more than happy to have you."
I can't wait for the woke Punisher videos. Punisher gone woke. It's like, no, it's the same Punisher. You just, media literacy is dead, especially with that character.
But yeah,
it's easy to understand one-dimensional character you can't even comprehend. Cool.
Yeah, it's that's what I would want. Hopefully they do that. But yeah, with like Foggy and Karen, if they recast, I'm not, if they can get good enough actors for the role, then that's fine. If they want to choose to ignore those characters, it wouldn't bother me that much, because for the most part, it's usually anything for Daredevil, they usually just focuses on Daredevil, because he, like you said, he isolates himself from a lot of people, and it's usually him against whoever he's trying to fight against, be it on the streets or in the courtroom. So it's like, for me, for me, it's not really an issue.
I say, if they ended up recasting them, fine. You can still say it's the same one, and it's just a continuation. The 3 seasons of canon and all this is just recast. Shows do it all the time, right? It doesn't need anything. What's his name? Guy who plays Rhodey. How have I forgot his name? Don Cheadle.
Oh yeah.
Iron Man 1 still canon. That's just because Don Cheadle's not in it anymore.
I think
Mark Ruffalo and all that. Like,
I think the reason for that one that's more accepting is because
it was early on. Like, he only had the one appearance.
Yeah, he only had the one appearance. That's the reason why it's more accepting. It's more accepting because he didn't really, fill the role. And I'm like, he didn't fill the role because he thought, he deserved more money. And it's like,
wanting to evade those taxes.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day as well, we don't know the reason why they're not brought back. For all we know, it's scheduling.
Yeah.
I'd put money on they just can't make the shoot, and it's, you know, because this thing is a long shoot. They're essentially filming 3 seasons at once.
Oh wow.
I think it's 18 episodes, right? Like they're doing the entire thing at once. I don't think it's all going to drop at once. I think it's all going to be like split into 3, then act like 3 seasons.
I assume that, but I didn't think that they were gonna go like, you know, like the full 100 yards.
Yeah, they're literally filming the entire year for this show.
Yeah,
so it's like if they were busy, there's no doubt they can't make it.
Yeah, so if they were doing that, then it's probably scheduling issues for the most part, which is probably why, if they are going to, they most likely want to recast Foggy and Karen.
Exactly. So, we also know there's certain scenes set in 2020, so we are going to see Daredevil in the blip. So it's not out of the realm possibility to be like, yeah, you know, this whole thing might be set in that 5-year gap. We don't know.
they got
hey, they were blips. That's why they're not here. Easy as pie. People just need to take a deep breath, relax, and maybe think for a little bit that the doom and gloom isn't necessarily the actual reason why.
I mean, that's one of the reasons why I come at it with, you know, an open mind, because obviously certain aspects aren't going to be the same, but for people who want, you know, Netflix's Daredevil because they want, you know, the blood, the gore, the gritty, and they only focused on that when, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's a great show, but it had some, you know, really questionable ideas and how to progress a story, and I would rather have, you know, a consistent story overall than, you know, good episodes and then, you know, what are Faki and Karen up to, and it's not eventful, and then you guys, this is not the next Netflix Daredevil I remember, and I'm like, well, it kind of is, because it happens in a couple of episodes per season where, you know, Daredevil is trying to recuperate or doing something that's I guess puts him off his game, and then you have the secondary characters.
He stubs his toe.
Yeah. You know, the secondary characters go off and, you know, just mess about, and nothing eventful comes. And then, oh no, was it like Kingpin's off doing something? So Daredevil has to shake off that stub toe and get back to work. But yeah, it's just
those Netflix shows, you know, love them to death. I think no one's ever going to say a bad word about those shows, but they are some, you know, even at the time, people knew that there were some glaring problems. Like a lot of the pacing was up because of the 13 episode stretch and having to have like the 7th episode always be a filler. Like everyone knew that straight from the word jump with Daredevil season 1, but
which is why in like some instances having at least like it being, or most shows being of this caliber, it would benefit to have for them to be around 8 to 10 episodes instead of 13, because that's from what I've seen, that's what a lot of hero shows fall prey under, is that, oh, we need, you know, 13 episodes. What can we do to pad that out? Because, you know, we can't have everything be a consistent story beat. So, like for me,
I never understood the episode length or the episode count of these sorts of shows. It's like just make it 10 and have a decent budget. Like if you're going to, you should, you know, mandate's 13. Just take the budget for a 13 and make 10. And, you know, you can have 10 better episodes.
Yeah, from what I've seen, it's a weird thing. That's why people get on, you know, shows for doing 13. Why don't you just do 8 to 10? You'll have, you know, better budget. You don't have to stretch shows out to where, you know, for the first 5 minutes of one episode, it's actually, you know, telling the story, and the characters mess about for like 15, 20 minutes, and the continuation of that episode in the next episode, just to pad stuff out, just to you know, get the 13 prerequisites of episodes. So if shows were around 8 to 10, that would be I guess more optimal in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But right, moving on. This comes from, I think it's John Roker, the old one of the old Collider guys. He's been talking about the Blade reboot that's coming.
this is interesting to me if it is true, because it's rumors at this point. That the reason for the delays and the rewrites is that I don't want to I don't want to butcher his name. Um, is it was it Marshala?
Yes, I think.
I just don't want to
Mahershala
butcher.
Ali. Is that his
Yeah,
name?
it's the
Yeah.
showrunner. I just don't want to butcher his name. He reportedly, or from the rumors anyway, that the reason why it's taking so long on the rewrites is because he doesn't like that the Blade movie, I guess, has a co-star essentially, where the Kit
Oh,
Harington's
Kit Harington. Yeah.
Black Knight is like a co-star in the Blade movie, and they want initial rewrites from the rumors. So I just have to state that again, that they wanted him to have I guess a bigger role in a Blade movie that should be mostly about Blade, which is, yeah, I can understand that, if because he essentially is one of the higher or more notable um, Black Marvel characters that moviegoers know from his outing from the
Yeah.
late 90s and early 2000s from the Blade franchise that they had. So from that aspect, I understand his misgivings that in this iteration they're trying to shove as much of Marvel lore and the world building in Blade, when it should be, for the most part, just building up Blade from the get-go and up from the ground up for this new iteration of the character. So
Yeah, I agree with that to it. Yeah. No, I do agree with that. I think it should obviously primarily focus on Blade. That they have kind of written themselves into his hole where the end of Eternals, you had his voice. You could quite easily
yeah,
change that to not be Blade's voice and say it's someone else. Because let's be honest, no one knew until Chloe Zhao came out and was like, "Oh yeah, it's Blade." It's like, okay.
yeah,
Like,
because
no one knew he was
yeah,
speaking
no,
to
it was
stuff.
like, who is that? Who is it? And then, oh, it's Blade, and and that's where everyone's all happy. But from this, I know people are probably at this point in time, people hate this, but this is still a rumor. It's not confirmed or anything. It's just speculation at this point from why the rewrites are happening, and that Blade is being pushed back again with a lot of other projects. And
I say, and this movie's had some trouble from the get go.
yeah,
Hasn't it changed writers or something? I can't
yes,
actually remember.
I think so. It's yeah, it's changed writers, and it doesn't it change directors as well.
I
um,
think you might be right, actually.
yeah,
See,
but
not
yeah,
not doing this show consistently really throws me off of what I actually
yeah.
follow.
No, it's just
I
that.
think so.
No,
I
I
just
think
see it and forget it now.
I think the problem is that there hasn't been that much information. It's been sporadic for me anyway, because I think
Yeah,
I am correct where they did change directors, and now if this is true, they're also trying to get a writer to actually rewrite the story again,
yeah.
whether that be
I
for the
think there's a
second or third
nice
time.
middle ground for this move, right? Like you can have Kit Harington in there, but you can
Yeah,
like
it's,
focus on Blade for the most part.
yeah,
Pull like a Thor: Love and Thunder with the Guardians. Like have him be in at the start, like the
mhm,
first 15, 20 minutes,
yeah.
then just jump straight into Blade focus.
Yeah, that's what I essentially would like, is that just have, if they really need if they really need the Black Knight, and it just have him in there for a little bit, and just
Mm.
have it
Or
essentially
even
be,
have Black Knight be the villain.
that'd be interesting. I know Black
You
Knight,
know,
whoever, however many Black Knight fans there wouldn't like it, but
I mean, the six of us, the Black Knight fans, will completely understand where they're coming from because that dude can be
yeah,
crazy,
because like,
and has been a villain before.
yeah,
Just have that twist off the
I
bat.
mean, he can do it because from what, like not leaks, but from rumors of saying that Blade is also, from what I've potentially might happen, is that they were casting for a teenage female role, and if they are going to do it, uh,
Yeah.
add in Blade's daughter, um, which I have to state that Bloodline is not her actual name. That's supposed to be her code name. Because
That
I've
was one of
seen,
those situations.
yeah, where people confuse that, where especially when after her, I think this is a mini series that she has, where people were saying Bloodline's a stupid name, and then some people have to correct him saying Bloodline's not her actual name; it's her code name.
I actually quite like it either way, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
that's
the
it's a
book's
nice
actually
little...
yeah, the book's actually pretty good though. But if they do go that way, then I mean, if they do want to have Black Knight be the villain, have him go have him go after all Nightwalkers, including his daughter, who is basically a dampener, just like Blade is. So she has
Yeah, that'd be a cool way of taking it.
yeah, because she has all of the powers that he has, and she's a Daywalker as well.
Yeah, it's a bit Cassie Lang-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, with how Darren Cross and like speaking in the comics ways, her first appearance and all that. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind it. They didn't do that for Cassie in the MCU, really. So let's do it. Why not do it over here? Have a nice middle ground. Don't Dwayne Johnson Blade and get your ego in the way. I know he's the reason why this movie's getting made in the first place, but let's do this right.
Yeah, it's like for Blade anyway. I do want this done right because like I
It
think
needs to be done right as well.
Yeah, like we said multiple times, from what Marvel has done with Blade after the movie is that his primary goal is to I guess call the vampire plague, but he also dabbles in the supernatural monster side of Marvel, so you can introduce a lot of other stuff from the mystic side of the Marvel universe.
Also makes Blade more interesting, making him a monster hunter, right?
Yeah.
Because the vampire hunt is such a one-note thing. Like Blade's a cool character and all that, but it's just it's another vampire story.
Yeah, it's like I know he has like a one-track mind for vampires, but from a lot of other stories, he also dabbles in monster hunting as well because it could be connected to vampires, and that's why you see him with a lot of mystic heroes. So
He's getting old like Elsa Bloodstone. You know, have him go after like Man Thing.
Yeah.
Like, bring Man Thing back, and then it's like, oh,
yeah.
this guy's actually, he good. He might burn people, but he's good. He's very good.
Yes.
But yeah, that's if they've cut him out entirely, fine, I guess. I assume there's reasons for it. I'll be a bit pissed because one of the 3 Eternals fans left on this planet. I was looking forward to seeing that character, and I assume that even if they do cut him out of this movie, that Black Knight has a place somewhere along the line.
Yeah, that's what I hope. That's what I assume and hope that he does have a place. It's just that from original, if this rumor is true, that it's been reworked to not just be the Blade movie, which would, from what I've seen it be presented as, it would be the Blade and Black Knight movie, and it just be Blade primarily with some Black Knight, be it just for a little small role or a villain, or they push him off into something else, be it another TV show or another movie that could actually use him.
I can't remember Black Knight's actual name, but have that character lose it at the start. Blade calls in Elsa Bloodstone. She takes him away because it's more her area of expertise, and then we can focus on Blade. Like just small little things. I just want my cake and I want to eat it. Let me have it, Marvel, please.
Yeah, because I think that's what the MCU Blade is going to be, more of the supernatural side, not just a vampire hunter, which is why they probably put that Blade voice line in at the end of Eternals, was that they're trying to push him as the supernatural hunter and not just a vampire hunter, so he can actually be in more things than just vampires. So that's what I think anyway.
Well, we'll have to see it if this movie even ever starts.
Yeah,
like
because
production.
yes,
we'll
because
find out, I guess.
Yeah, because Feige said, yeah, we're not going to be spending that much money anymore. We're going to focus on quality rather than quantity.
Yeah, they're having a. We'll get to the big shuffle because. Oh boy, what a week it's been for that. But before we jump onto that topic, though, we have I believe it's old Dave Filoni out here teasing that. I think what everyone already knew. I think everyone already saw it coming because they season 2 was essentially a crossover, and then Book of Boba Fett was as well.
Yeah.
But like a Mando-Verse style crossover.
That's the
whether
weird
that be
thing.
a show or a movie.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's that they gave him free reign over this, and essentially what's weird about it is that he, I guess, equates it to Grogu and Mando being stuck between season, like I guess narratively stuck to get the narrative pushed along between season 2 and season 3. And he, I guess, put that standalone story in an episode of Book of Boba Fett to get the narrative going, which essentially what a lot of people assume was they really just made part of Book of Boba Fett The Mandalorian season 2.5 to get the narrative going to get season 3 on the ball and get going. And it's interesting that he said that this is something that they might be doing more of in the future, where you'll see characters from shows pop up in movies that, what are they doing at this point in time? And, okay, so this is what they're doing. And then they, continue on with the next season, continue from where they left off.
Which I think is kind of evident at the minute, especially with what season 3 of Mando's doing. And, you have like Bo-Katan, she's now joining the Children of the Watch, and there's always talk about reclaiming Mandalore, and there's the mythosaurs coming to this, and I can easily see them either going, right, well, the end of season 3, or it won't be season 3, it'll be like season 4. The end of season 4 is a theatrical movie, or we just have this one massive thing on Disney Plus, like a made-for-streaming movie sort of thing. Like, it's got to be something like that, because the way this story's going with taking back Mandalore and all this, and Moff Gideon's teased to come back, and there's going to be a massive thing.
Yeah, I can see them doing stuff like that, especially with what like Disney as a whole is doing with Disney Plus, where which I don't know if people like at large know, is that now where a country still have Disney, they're doing next day for their streaming services. So anything that pops up on like any of their networks that they have, you'll be able to stream it next day. So if they have like a special or something on like ABC or something like that, you'll be able to watch it next day for the most part on Disney Plus, which is actually would have some good idea. Yeah, good cross pollination with like the season premieres of other shows or other Star Wars or movie shows, especially for like stuff like this, like for The Mandalorian, to get more people watching on Disney Plus.
Like it's really not difficult to see like a movie with Mando in it, with Grogu, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, whoever else.
Really, Boba Fett?
I mean, let's be honest. Boba Fett is intrinsically tied now to Mando, like in a very funny, ironic way, because this show was originally a Boba Fett movie, and then it turned into this. Like,
but the funny thing about that for me, and it's ironic. People say that Boba Fett is this really cool badass, and then I'm like, Boba Fett is what he wants to be. He wants to be Mando.
It's true, but he has a baby rancor. Mando doesn't, so it's kind of the weights are even right now. One's not bad. Maybe one edges it slightly, but the other one, no, they're not far apart. Yeah, all those characters. It's like it's right there.
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully not a CGI deepfake Luke. Like, let's not. Yeah. People have had enough of that. Like, no more, please.
I mean, it was impressive, but yeah, I don't want any more deepfakes. But yeah, if this can get off or is well received, then I can see them doing this for a lot of other shows in the franchise, which would be actually pretty interesting, because you'll never know who shows up in a show that would have that character in that time span.
No, it's just that you're going to be like Pedro Pascal and a bunch of Tamara Morrisons around him. no doubt fight Darth Vader again. Or I say it again for the first time.
Yeah, he just probably shows up the mid part of season 4.
Ezra Bridger will be there as well, and all this. IG-88 will come back, because we have to bring that robot back now, apparently. That's a subplot that's going somewhere in this show. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that this is the thing they're doing, especially them trying to, for lack of a better word, like Marvelize Star Wars. But that Star Wars wasn't like an expanded thing anyway. That could have had crossovers, but they're actually leaning more heavily into that now. So
I mean, it's a good thing because like for me, like I really don't like the I guess the bad narrative for Star Wars fans where they want more narrative driven stuff, less of the casual laser shootout fights and sword battles. I mean, you need a balance of both because then it becomes a drag and you become Endor.
oh no, not Andor. Oh,
Where
that
he's
show
like,
was
where he's like, it's the best narrative wise for Star Wars, and I was like, maybe best narrative wise, but if it, if a lot of
that
people,
show was boring.
yeah,
Oh
if
man,
it's boring for the casual audience, which usually likes a cohesion of both, yeah, you're not going to be getting a lot of those.
yeah, no. I ended up watching Andor purely for the Anvil guy. The space
Yeah,
fight could slam the anvils. He was the best part of that show by a mile. But yeah, I don't think anyone's surprised by this news. It was inevitable. I'm down for it. Whether it's going to be a theatrical thing or just a Disney Plus thing, it's cool. And everyone will have
yeah,
like you'll have your Ezra Bridgers and your Ahsokas and Sabines and your Bows and your Mandos and your Boba Fett's. They'll all be there in the line. One will
yeah,
say on your left, and then they'll all charge at Vader or Gideon or something, and then
yeah, probably because what is it? The original voice actor for Vader did that. I guess that deal where for future references that he allowed them the future use of his voice and
he
it,
did. Yeah, I can't think of his name, and I feel really bad for it.
with the AI generated I guess algorithms to have future reference, and that whole thing is a big can of worms as well
Yeah.
on both sides of the argument.
Well, it's a conversation now, right? Because they got Lance Reddick to bring it all
Yeah,
back all first circle. A lot of people are like, "Don't AI, please never AI that guy's voice, please."
yeah.
Horrible.
James Earl Jones
That's it.
is
How did I forget James L. Jones? Oh man,
yeah,
that's bad.
where
Oh
like
dear.
because the whole I don't want to get into that a lot as a whole 'cause it's a big one, but it's just that James thought that Vader is an iconic role for whatever story that they wanted to tell. He signed a deal with Disney to allow them to continue to use his voice after his
Mm.
passing, to if they still want to do Vader stories. And then there's a whole other argument for other voice actors in the industry saying, why don't you let um, a successor continue his legacy? And there's an argument for both sides.
I think it's an individual basis, right? If
Yeah,
I think for something as iconic as a Vader, you're gonna find it very hard for people to accept anyone new. But
yeah,
if the voice actor has been like, "Hey, I don't mind if you use my voice after I'm gone,"
yeah.
fair enough. You don't. That's in the company's hands. Then they can get a new one, or they can do the AI
Yeah,
thing.
and I
That's
think that,
entirely up to them.
and I think that was the deal so far, is that it's entirely up to Disney whether or not they want to continue to use
Yeah.
Jones's voice in all the projects or just some of the projects, and have someone be his successor to where they can they have, I guess, the impacts, their voice has the same impact as him when portraying the character, because they do have or have had some stand-ins for some projects, and they did a really good job of voicing
Mm.
Vader. So yeah,
I say
that's
there's been a
cool.
few good voices
Yeah,
for Vader, but there's no. It's James L. Jones, man.
yeah,
You can't
yeah,
beat that. Can't beat that. But yeah, I think that's a case by case basis.
yeah,
But right, on to our last one, and of course the juiciest one, the juiciest topic of this week's show, and
yeah.
part of the reason why I was going to do this with people or not, because this one needs to be talked about a little bit. Um, Victoria Alonso has been, as we now know, straight up fired from Marvel Studios.
Yeah, yeah, I saw this when it first came out. it was weird because I had conflicting reports to like she left on her own, then she was fired, and the reason why she was fired.
I'll say the initial report was that she had just left.
Yeah, and then like
she'd exited. It was never stated until I think yesterday, like the day after.
What I was getting with the conflicting reports where they're saying that the reason why she left wasn't just because she left; it was because the reason why the special effects and CGI was so mismanaged was because she was cherry picking work for the effects crew, where if you are her favorite, she'd give you more work to do, whether you liked it or not. And if you pissed her off, she would leave you high and dry, which would, I guess, cause some infighting. And then
say it's either you made a king or you're blacklisted. She's a bit of a kingmaker, but
then
apparently,
and then another report came out saying, "Oh no, she was never like that, and that was not the reason why she was let go or she left on her own." And then, like I think like 3 anonymous Marvel actors said that she was a model citizen. I'm like, for me personally, I'm like, if you want to remain anonymous, why do you got to say that? Why don't you just say it with your whole chest? And just say no, she was not this person.
Yeah, because wasn't it like the up and coming ones? This is like, well, that's narrowed it down to the kids. It's like, look at all the red carpets recently, right? It's like, I'd put good money on one being Sochi Gomez, easily Sochi. Iman Vellani, 100%, hands down, and I can't think of another one. Who else would probably be?
Yeah,
I know there's at least 3 of them, but those 2 at least, I put money on them being.
And then like the report saying that Feige wasn't, I guess he wasn't a part of the initial, I guess, firing, but he knew that there was a meeting about it.
This is the bit for me that is the loudest part. Over the years, we've known Feige to be very, he's going to fight for what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
Right. And yet he hasn't intervened here. I'm sorry. There's, there's reports of VFX artists saying, she wasn't, she didn't make this toxic work environment. But then you have all these other VFX artists saying the exact opposite. Well, both can be true.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he didn't intervene and step in here and he's let this happen is.
Yeah, it could be just. Yeah, it could just be a case by case basis where, she was, fine and dandy like 1 month or 2 months, and then she was horrible like the next month for whatever reason. And
I mean, if it's the whole thing of, she's a kingmaker, right? Or if you, you can easily get blacklisted by her. Like, of course, you're going to have different experience with someone like that. If she's doing if this is actually the case, it's literally leaning into that argument and narrative still. So
because from what people are saying is like she essentially had it made at this point in time with what she was working with. But it's just I guess it's just an eye opener because this comes just months after Bob Iger made it or announced that they were going to rein in on the content being made because at this point in time they are not having, I guess, they're not liking their content with the quality that it's being made with what people are saying, which in all fairness with the criticism, it is not up to the quality of past content that they have made. Most specifically, with the people that jumped out is the CGI for She-Hulk and for Quantumania. So,
which to me though, yes, there's some dodgy CGI in both those things, but I think overall it's not the worst fire.
It's not.
There's been far worse.
Yeah, it's not the deal breakers, but you could clearly see that the
you
quality.
You can see that there's 100%. But not in
So
everything, though, right? You know,
yeah,
you can look at something like Eternals, and that thing looks fantastic.
yeah,
Then you get some shots in Black Widow where you can clearly see the green screen still, and
yeah,
it's just like
yeah. Like
it's hit and miss
yeah,
depending.
like you can like now you can see that why Iger made the I guess statement that they're gonna be focusing more on quality now than quantities. Because for me, I was like, yeah, they're spreading themselves really, really thin, having what like 6 or 7 projects come out a year. I'm like, I don't think
I think it was like 4 movies and 6 TV shows
yeah,
last year. At one point,
yeah,
it was a lot.
yeah. That's from looking back on it and seeing like they were spreading themselves way too thin with certain projects. Whereas like you said, with certain projects like um, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and like parts of I know some parts is dodgy with Moon Knight, which could have been better, and some other projects. So I'm okay with them, starting to slow down and have more quality control on their projects, which is why a lot of their movies and TV shows have been pushed back. And I think like at this point in time, I think was it Secret Invasion is the only TV show that's
I
well
think
that
we have
and
3 this year,
I think
3 TV shows.
It's Secret Invasion and Loki season
Loki.
2 are the I guess the
I
set
think
in
Echo
stone.
as well. I think Echo is supposed to be end of this year.
It's supposed to be, but I think so far from like that, it's been technically technically pushed back because it just has 2023 now on it, and that Secret Invasion and Loki season 2 are still on the slate to come out this
Mm.
year. So, but for like from I guess from those 2 shows onward, a lot of TV shows and the movies don't have an actual release date anymore. It's just the year.
Well,
And
yeah, the slate they announced last year, we don't even that's
yeah,
nowhere now. That's
oh
you know,
yeah,
the
because
slate was always a bit fluid anyway, but now that thing's just
I
been
know
blown
because
right out the
yeah, because I
water.
agree. I agree. Yeah, because I agree. Like yeah, we're gonna stop spending a lot and more spend some more time on polishing what we have.
Mm. But this is
So
all for me anyway. I think this is a very obvious what's the word? Not like repercussion, but result of the Bob Chapek mentality.
the penny pinching.
Yeah. Spending less, get out more. You know,
Yeah.
get rich quick schemes and all this sort of stuff.
Well,
And
it's the it's that and it's the what is it? They're just thinking more of the short term gain than the long term gain, which a
exactly,
lot
yeah.
um, from what it was is that a lot of the I guess the shareholders and the project runners did not like him for that because they kept trying to tell him that you'll get more money in the long term if you invest and have quality control instead of just throwing things out just to have people consume, which had diminishing returns because of the quality. Which it's that one thing where you want to have a lot of stuff to consume, or would you rather have a small set of stuff to consume, but it's made to the best of their ability? So
Exactly. It's a shame. Well, I say it's a shame she's gone. We don't know the whole story
yeah,
behind this one. There's no
it,
anything really
it's just
concrete.
yeah,
But
it's just weird that this came out at this time, and it was no, I wouldn't say like abrupt, but it's just like a head scratcher because, like I said earlier, she didn't really have to. She didn't have to go anywhere else because she had a job of a lifetime to just continue to be working
yeah,
with
she
projects
was
on
there
that.
since 2006. Like she's been there
Yeah,
since the beginning. It's nuts.
yeah,
But
about
at the end of the
17
day,
years.
like it might not necessarily have been her, but
Yeah,
she was the head of VFX and post production at that studio, so it all
yeah,
falls on her.
and a lot
Like,
of
if your leadership's that bad, then I'm sorry. No, it
yeah,
can't go
and
back.
a lot of VFX workers kept coming out saying it was saying
Exactly.
stories about that. So there has to be some truth to that. So
Yeah. And obviously, Disney and Marvel aren't the only studios that treat VFX
yeah,
things like
yeah,
crap. But when you have this output that Marvel had in the last few years, and not to criticize how Marvel do stuff, because
yeah,
they've made 28 billion in 10 years or whatever it is,
yeah,
but their whole fluid way of filmmaking where you can change things at the last minute. For the amount of projects they had coming out, that was just not sustainable for anyone.
Yeah.
Like no wonder these VFX artists are hating their jobs and lives at the minute. Like you're literally doing the worst thing possible. But hopefully that is like, you can see an industry-wide change on that because it needs to happen, and hopefully Marvel and Disney can pull their finger out and sort their stuff out, because that's it. Something needs to change. Something needs to move. And if this is the first thing that
it's probably
leads to change, then cool. I'm all for it.
It probably is, since Bob Iger came back, because if you mess with the shareholders' money, you're probably not going to have a job much longer.
Exactly. Yeah, so we'll no doubt find. I assume soon they'll probably no doubt get like 3 people to do her job and spread the workload on that one. But
yeah, I would expect that. It work better if, since they are working on more quality, that a lot of the stuff takes some more time than what was expected. Which
it seems to be the thing nowadays, unless I just never noticed it before, where if one person goes, you get 2 to replace them. And that spread it out a little bit. And
I know it's a little off topic before we end this, but it's he did put out that I guess it's weird how you could interpret this as that they are not potentially probably wouldn't be doing like franchises of like 3 or 4 movie installments for the most part. You could read it that way, or it's just that if they are doing what they said that they are attempting to do, which is legacy characters, you won't be seeing continue episodic installments of said franchise with a set character. Because
that to me was very much like you probably won't have resources like in a Thor 4, like a Thor 5. Instead, you're going to focus on like a Haley Steinfeld Hawkeye project.
Yeah.
That's like a little more like a Young Avengers situation than that, instead of doing this. Like they've had their chance. You haven't, not get rid of those characters, but they don't necessarily need more spotlight because
like a great example of this is essentially Captain America 4, but it's not really Captain America 4 because it's Sam Wilson being Captain America, and that's where people were confused at this point in time. It's like, is this a Captain America 4? I'm like, you could look at it that way, but essentially it's a new case. It
is, but it isn't in the same sense. It's both at once. But that's my thinking anyway. It's like Captain America obviously isn't just Steve, like it did in Iron Man 4. Like it's Iron Man 4, right? It's a different person. Like the person's not the name and all that. But with someone like Thor, though, is you could go the same route.
You could keep going. And I think from what Hemsworth has said, like he wants to do one more, and then that'd be it. So
which I'm fine with. That's totally fine. We have Natalie Portman in some capacity anyway, so they can always bring her back from Valhalla and all that. So but we'll see how they handle all their clogged up machinery, because they seem to have. The pandemic's definitely hit Marvel hard. Pandemic and Chapek at the same time was probably the worst, like an actual apocalyptic situation last year.
The Feige supercomputer needs to get itself up to the sky.
I hope that robot's a real thing. But let us know what you think about the whole Victoria London situation, because I'm convinced there's obviously got to be some truth to it, right? Like you're not gonna have all this stuff come out.
Yeah, usually there is some truth to what's been going on. So it's not just like, oh no, she's innocent of all of this, and
because at the end of the day, you don't get blindsided by a firing if you haven't done anything wrong.
No, that's what people see it from her. She quit on her own. So
I mean that was the initial report, but the one the day after was very much indeed she did not see this coming. They came from the shadows on this one, and took that woman out. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we'll get more details in the coming months. Someone's going to
Mhm.
say something, and and
Oh
whatever
yeah,
else.
yeah. Before we go, RIP MCU spoilers. Reddit.
Oh yeah, for Feige came for you guys hard.
Yeah, 7 years
All you
of trying.
scoopers out there, there's specifically a shiny one, I'd be very,
Yeah,
very worried right now.
they had a 7 year run of trying to get people on the projects to spill the beans for clout, and it finally came to a head.
Yeah, when you're leaking entire script, yikes, yikes. But yeah, we'll leave you on that note. So
Yeah.
yeah, hope we'll catch you. Hopefully, not in a month's time. It'll be before that. So bye bye.